Okay, after the targeting is done, we need to get that green dot off of the screen. So and set our palette back to set our slate back to default, clear everything. So I hit menu. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong menu. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to hit pause convergence. So long as I'm in sensitivity or threshold, which I am in sensitivity right now, then I can hit menu, and I'm just going to say 3, which clears the shading. Technically what I did there in the last video is I shaded the center of the screen by cranking up the middle to full blast green sensitivity. I'm going to clear that now. So I hit enter, and it has cleared that, and I know it's clear because the default value is 128 for sensitivity. Okay, so now before we go into color balancing, we need to determine the maximum efficiency of the projector. And here is the secret for that. First of all, we need to be in a dark room, so I'm going to turn the lights on. And next we turn the color meter on, but I'm not interested yet in the color of the screen. Let's see if I don't know if my camera will. Yes, it will. Okay, so what we've got is 3 digits. Right now, we're only concerned with the first one, and what that is foot Lamberts. Okay, so we're interested in the brightness. Alright, so here's what we do. By the way, if you're curious, I've just got one of these little headlamp thingies that does red and white. And I can put that on my head so that I can actually see the numbers on the LCD and the color meter without having light in the room. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we are going to get out of this menu, and we are going to go back to the ILA menu. So from the main menu, and then we're going to do this in blue. So I'm going to hit the blue button, and I'm going to go into the ILA menu 3, and then I'm going to say adjust with no video 2. And before I hit any keys on that, I'm going to look at my Tech Remote LCD and note the value that it's currently set at, which is 88. Then I'm going to hit the blue key, and I'm going to hit up, and as you can see, every time I hit up, it brightens the screen. It's important to know that this has nothing to do with the CRT. We're not driving the CRT hotter or anything like that. What we're doing is we're driving the bias higher on the blue. Normally we would never run the blue this hot. That would literally be your black video. You'd have no blacks at all. But that's what we're trying to do here. Is I keep hitting the up arrow, and I keep hitting the up arrow, and I check on the amount of foot Lamberts of blue I'm getting with the meter. Right now it's at 0.58, and I keep hitting up, and it keeps getting brighter, and it keeps getting brighter. This is helpful to have a friend monitoring the meter while you're doing this. But eventually, you're going to get to a maximum where it just can't get any brighter. As a matter of fact, you're going to get to a point where where you overshoot it, and it actually starts getting dimmer as you up the bias past its peak point. You are only interested in what that peak blue value is. And I've already done this procedure, so I know that my peak blue value came out at 1.67 foot Lamberts as read on that meter. So once I know that, number. Now I hit the down arrow and I reset the blue bias back to its original setting of 88. You can't see that now because it's too dark in the room, but I can see it on my little tech remote because it's got a tiny little backlight on it. Yeah, it isn't picking up on this phone at all. And now I know that number, and then I take that 1.67 and I take 45% of that, because I'm guessing that my projector is 45% efficient. That's a pretty typical number for a cinema grade. You can go as high as 55%, but take 45% of 1.67, and that comes out at something like 0.66, 0.67. And that is what we're going to target next. So, to do that, I hit escape, which restores my thing here, and I go escape again, and I get to the main menu, and now I pick option 6, video quick set. And I pick option 1. Okay, and I cut off red and I cut off green, so it's just blue. And now when I hit the up arrow, the screen gets brighter and brighter. And if I hit down arrow, it gets dimmer and dimmer. But this time, the difference is I'm not changing the bias of the ILA. I'm actually adjusting the sensitivity offset of blue. So I am controlling the CRT now. And the goal here now is I want the screen to read, the meter to read 0.67 by adjusting the CRT efficiency. So I'm going to adjust that, and then I'm going to check my progress over here. Again, it's helpful to have a friend. Okay, I'm at 0.90, so I'm too hot. So I'm going to back that off a few clicks. Again, I'm only looking at the first digit. Okay, maybe about there. Go back, check my work. And I'm at 0.79, so I'm getting close. I'm still a little too hot. Boom, boom. Okay, let's check it one more time. Coming over to the meter. And I'm at 0.67. Perfect. I'm right where I need to be. Okay, so now I note the value on the Tech Remote LCD, and it says I'm at 116. So my blue sensitivity is 116. And that is important because that is the maximum efficiency brightness I'm going to get out of blue right there. Now that doesn't look very bright, but understand that blue, in terms of the way the human eye works, is our eye is very sensitive to blue, so we don't need a lot of blue. Now if I bring in red and green, that is a pretty bright screen. Now also consider too that my bulb brightness has not been cranked up. It's still set at almost to minimum right now too. So don't be too concerned about a dim screen here. Don't freak out about that. Trust me, this projector will do bright, no problem. Okay, so now I go to the menu again. This time I pick option 2. And now I am interested in the color coordinates that the meter gives off. And now what I do is I'm targeting 0.313 for the middle number, which is red, and 0.328 on the last number, which is green. And it's easiest to do this with the wired remote. Just bring the wired remote over to the meter, and bear with me here, and place the light on my head. I hope you can see that, maybe. And now I can actually but in any case, now what I do is I just simply hit the green button and I hit up, and the number I'm seeing on there now is 0.319, and my target is 0.329, so I'm going to hit up a few more times. I'm at 327, one more time ought to do it, and 0.330. Okay, close enough. Now I switch over to red. I hit red on the tech remote, and that's currently reading at 0.277. I want 0.313, so I want to up red quite a bit. Alright. I have to let it settle out. 0.30, I'm getting closer. Upping red more. 0.303, upping red even more. Okay. And basically what happens is eventually, okay, now I'm getting close. Eventually, I'm going to get to 0.313 and 0.329. One thing I want to note, though, is on the tech remote itself, on that LCD panel, it'll actually show you where your offsets currently are. And what you're doing is you're adjusting sensitivity offset. Blue has already been set. We're only adjusting green and red to match blue to achieve gray at 80% based on what this meter says. And then I'm going to take a look at the numbers that it took to get there, and what I'm typically discover is that if the numbers fall between, say, 100 and 185, those are generally acceptable numbers. If they're much out of that range, if they're much lower than that or much higher than that, you might still be able to get gray, but you're going to run into issues later. You want to keep those numbers as close to 128 as possible, and we'll discuss why later. But 128 would be ideal. You're probably not going to get there, but in any case, now if you look at the center of the screen now, look how gray that is. That is D6500. But keep in mind, this is only at the 80% level. So I'm going to hit enter, and now I'm going to go into option 3, which is the 20% level. Okay, and then I look at this on the meter again, and I can see that I need to make some changes. I am allowed to adjust blue down here, and it looks like if you look at the screen, you can tell it's already just too dang blue. So I'm going to take some blue away, just a little bit of blue away. So I hit the blue button and down arrow, and that already has helped. I'll take a little more away. Now my green and red are starting to get closer to target, so I'm going to hit red and up it a bit. I'm going to hit green and up it quite a bit. Okay, now you can see it's starting to get a little bit grayer. The meter's indicating that, and I just have to mess around with this for a while. It takes a while. You got to be very patient, especially at this 20% level. 20% is real touchy. I will tell you that your target values on the 20% should also be close to, I'd say, no lower than 50. And no higher than 200 at the top, and really typically the closer to 128 you get, the better. And honestly, I'm even finding the closer to 80 you get, the better. One of the things that might be helpful is if you can already tell by the numbers on the LCD tech remote that you're not even close, like, you know, if you just know your numbers are going to be way, way high or way, way low on a particular color, you can go back and adjust the pots on the G2 now and boost them or cut them to bring these numbers a little bit closer. Don't go too crazy, though. The adjustment should be pretty minor back there. But you can tweak those pots a little bit to get the target numbers. And eventually what you want to end up with, what your goal is, and you hit enter and you hit 2 again, you go back to your 80% and you look at the numbers again, and they're going to be a little off now because you've adjusted the bottom end. You need to stretch it a little bit. So, and I can see I need a bit more red. Don't adjust blue up here. Never adjust blue up here. Blue is fixed. That's why you went through all of that trouble of calculating the blue target. But now, and I'm going to cut green just a little bit here. And now I'm seeing, I'm pretty darn close. Let's see if, yeah. So the first digit is how bright the screen is. Don't care. The second digit should be 0.313. We're at 0.315. That's pretty close. The last digit should be 0.328, and we're at 327. Pretty close. And we got a pretty good gray center of the screen there. Eventually, you're going to want to get that to be there at the 80 and there at the 20. You'll probably have to fart around for a while. You may have to mess with the G2s a tiny little bit. And if you still can't get it to tame in, you might even have to tweak the ILA biases just a little bit to add or take away a color. But again, the bottom line target is you want 0.313 and 0.329 at 80% and at 20%. And you want those offsets on the high side to be around 128, between say 90 and 120, or 100, between 90 and 180 is usually works. And on the low side, between 50 and maybe 150. Those numbers usually work out. In any case, once you finally get all of this done, what you should see when you press enter and get out of this menu and go into test 1, you should see that the colors should start to be pretty good. Don't pay too much attention to anything except the center of the screen. The center of the screen, that one little green dot, that should be perfect color. Everything else isn't yet because of the shading, but that's going to be taken care of soon.